Michigan fans don't want to hear this, but it's going to happen. Texas is going to walk into your home stadium and Donkey Kong, Bing Bong, Ping Pong smash you. They're going to light you up on defense and offense. You're not going to have an answer on either side of the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like this week has flown by. I can't believe it's Thursday already. Maybe it has a little something to do with it was a shorter week due to Labor Day, but I'm not complaining. We got college football in a couple of days. We don't have a lot of great games to look forward to, but there is one top 10 matchup between the Texas Longhorns and the Michigan Wolverines. And hold on. What is this comment on one of the previous videos? Matt, I talked to someone you grew up with. He told me you weren't the white Randy Moss, but you were Bobby Boucher before he played football, parentheses, bald, by the way. I'll just let the last part slide. Not too sure why you had to throw in parentheses, bald, by the way, but whatever. And actually, White Randy had hair back in the day, but that's besides the point. To address this comment, it's just simply incorrect information because anybody that grew up with me, they'd tell you firsthand, your boy White Randy could play. So it's one or two things. Number one, either you're lying, or number two, whoever told you that, they're trolling you. Because you know how I get the nickname White Randy, right? It wasn't because I gave it to myself. That's what my peers were calling me. And then you got someone in the replies saying, bro is bragging on a catch he made in 7th grade PE. What are we doing? Whenever I tell y'all these stories about all my crazy plays and catches back in the day, that's not me bragging. I'm just telling you what happened. And I've always had the mentality, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. And White Randy most certainly could back it up back in his prime. I'd love to talk about this some more, but we gotta go move on. The crazy part about all this is I haven't even told you 2% of all the stories White Randy had back in the day. Last comment, somebody said I ordered fresh fries and Matt put the old ones back in the fryer to reheat them instead. And that's what you get for talking to me crazy in the drive-thru. I remember you, buddy. All right, enough of that. I wish I could read more comments, but you're not here for the comments. Most of you are here for the football content, so let's get into it. We are a couple minutes into this video and we haven't even talked about Michigan or Texas. My apologies. As we all know, Michigan won the national championship last year, and I'm going to clap it up to them. Clap it up. Fantastic season, and I am super happy for their fan base. I've always enjoyed the Michigan fan base on our channel. They've treated me great, and I'd like to reciprocate that same energy. I mean this when I say it. I can't say enough good things about their fan base. Super humble. And I already know somebody's going to say, oh, no, Matt, they're not humble. And calm down, buddy. Just because you had a bad interaction doesn't mean I've had bad interactions with them. From what I've seen on Twitter, my channel, our community, they're pretty good compared to others. Like I was saying, they won the championship last year, had an outstanding ball team, but a main reason they was really good is because they had one of the most talented quarterbacks in the nation in J.J. McCarthy. They had a really good head coach in Jim Harbaugh, and they had veteran leadership. Michigan winning it all last year, it was destiny. The stars, they lined up perfectly, and we saw it happen. Ideally, what do you need to win a championship? Great quarterback play. Check. Good head coach. Check. Strong and powerful offensive line. Check. Ferocious defense line. Check. Great running backs. Check. Semi-decent wide receiver play. Check. They checked off all the boxes. I know what some of you are sitting here saying. Stick with me. Matt, why are we talking about last year? It's a new season, baby. That's irrelevant. And I understand and I agree. The reason I said all that is to lead me into my next point perfectly. This year's Michigan team is completely different. They don't have a good head coach. They don't have a good quarterback. Offensive line, kind of questionable, not as good as last year, and same thing for the defense. I'm not here to talk about their season, but all in all, I do think Michigan's going to struggle mightily just because of how much they've lost. And the problem with Michigan, unlike a Georgia or Alabama, is they're not bringing in top 5 recruiting classes left and right. So what has happened is they lost all their great players and they haven't replaced them with great players. Whereas with, we'll just say Georgia, they lose great players every single year, but since they already have great players backing them up, you don't see too big of a drop-off. And the one thing I've always said about Michigan is the difference with them and Georgia is Georgia every single year, they reload. Michigan is currently rebuilding. Don't care what anybody tries to tell you, it's a rebuilding season. And I'm not going to say that Michigan fans will be happy if they go 8-4, 7-5, but I think they're content just due to winning that national championship. If I were to tell most fan bases, hey, would you be willing to trade 3 years of sucking for 1 year of a national championship? They do it. For me, myself, I'd much rather my team win one championship and not win a single game for the next 3 years than to finish runner-up 4 years in a row. But that's my mentality, similar to Ricky Bobby off of Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last. For example, who wants to be a team like Penn State, where you go 9-3, 10-2 every single year, but you can't beat Michigan or Ohio State, therefore you're irrelevant? So with that being said, I think Michigan fans are kind of viewing this season as, if we're good, that'd be awesome, but if we're not good, whatever. I'm curious, Michigan fans. Let me know in the comment section how you actually feel. On the flip side for Texas, I don't want to say there's a ton of pressure on them, but I think we all know this. It's championship or bust. Steve Sarkisian, he's been there a couple years. He's got his guys in. You got your star veteran quarterback returning. You got skilled players, great skilled players at that, all across the board. This team should win a championship. Or my apologies, they should at bare minimum compete for a championship, and the expectation of that Texas Longhorn fan base is to win a championship. On paper, we'll address the elephant in the room right now. Yes, Texas is the better ball team. Should they win? Yes, but it's college football. There's a reason we play the games. With Texas, we know what we're going to get. Good running back play, great quarterback play, and they arguably have one of the better wide receiver rooms in the nation. I said this last year about Texas, and I still believe it heading into this year. Their front seven is underrated. I know Washington lit them up, but you just got to tip your cap to Kalen DeBoer and Michael Penix Jr., but it wasn't the front seven's fault. It was the secondary. In my humble opinion, I think Texas is still, this year, an underrated defensive football team. It's just because when you think of Texas, who do you think of? Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers, Steve Sarkisian, offense, offense, offense. Nobody talks about the defense, especially in 2024, because it's not flashy, it's not popular. But I, for one, happen to like the Texas defense. I think we've established a good base with Texas. We know what to expect. But let's go back to Michigan. Michigan is known as a defensive football team, and I still think they can be a really good defensive football team this year, but against Fresno State, there are some things that stuck out to me, and not good things. For starters, one of their better corners, Will Johnson, got lit up. He allowed 5 catches for 80 yards, and there was a couple of plays where the quarterback made a terrible throw around, so it could have been worse for him. Michigan only gave up 244 total yards against Fresno State, but they didn't look as dominant as they did last year. I am a little more worried about their defense after seeing that performance against Fresno State, but I still have high hopes for them. The biggest topic of discussion is most certainly going to be their offense. It wasn't pretty, I'll tell you that much. They only mustered up 23 points against Fresno State. Some of you may be saying, well, Matt, I thought the score was 30-10, and yes, it was, but that was due to a pick six. And I believe late in the third quarter, the score was 16-10. I mean, this was a ball game. We'll start off with the quarterback first. Heading into the season, many people speculated that Alex Orji was going to be a starter, but Davis Warren winds up winning the job. For those of you that don't know a lot about Mr. Davis Warren, this may sound harsh and brutal. I'll give it to you short and simple and sweet. He's not good. At best, he is average. I'll give you a great example because I know you've seen this guy play. DJ Ugabadoogie. I know Ugabadoogie played awful against Boston College, but for the vast majority of his career, he's been okay. That's pretty much Davis Warren. He is not going to go out there against Texas and beat them. There's no shot, no chance of that happening. He is a game manager at best, and I tell you what, if Michigan goes down 14-0 early at Texas, this could get ugly, and I mean ugly quick. They are not built, especially this year, to come back from double-digit deficits. Last year they could, because McCarthy, although he technically most people would label him as a game manager, when Michigan needed him to make big-time throws and plays, he did it. Going to remind some people last year, when they were trailing to Alabama and needed a touchdown, who led him on that drive? McCarthy. Against Ohio State, he made numerous big throws. McCarthy always made great throws. I don't care what people said about him. I felt like he was always underrated, and he was a great college quarterback. Warren, on the other hand, ain't that guy. He's not going to lead you down in some game-tying or game-winning drive. He's not going to make big-time throws. The only way Michigan has a chance of even competing in this ballgame, notice I didn't say win, I said compete, is if their defense plays really good and they establish a running game. And the problem with that is it's hard to establish your running game when your opponent doesn't respect your passing game. You see, last year, teams actually feared J.J. McCarthy to a certain extent, so they respected the passing game a little bit more. And when you respect the passing game, that means you can't put 7 or 8 in the box and just bank on the quarterback not being good and not being able to beat you. Whereas this year, Texas will put 7 8 in the box and dare Mr. Davis Warren to beat them. This is a home game for Michigan, which to me doesn't amount to a hill of beans because it doesn't persuade my decision, not even to the slightest. I don't believe Michigan's defense is the X factor because I don't think they're going to stop Quinn Ewers and Steve Sarkisian from putting up points. Texas is too good on offense to not score at bare minimum 30 points in this game. Sometimes I'll have multiple X factors, but in this video, it's one player only, Davis Warren. He has to play great just for Michigan to have a shot in this ball game. If he goes out there and throws a couple interceptions, can't find his rhythm, can't find his timing, this will, and I mean it will get ugly. When you got a quarterback who's not good, it's like blood in the water for the defensive coordinator because they aren't scared of him and they're just in full attack mode. That Texas defense is going to be on their toes, whereas against Washington, they were on their heels. What is the line for this game? I haven't even looked. Hold on, pulling it up. Texas 7.5. I think that's way too low. I would be shocked if Texas doesn't win this game by 14 points or more. Even if Warren goes out there and plays good, Michigan is still going to have a hard time winning this ball game. So just from a prediction standpoint, it doesn't make sense to pick Michigan. There's too many things that have to go right for Michigan, like I said, to just compete in the ball game. Whereas with Texas, I don't even think they have to play their B+ game to win this. I think they could play their C+ game and walk away with a win. And who knows what's going to happen if Texas goes out there fully disciplined, fully motivated, and plays their A+ game. Michigan fans don't want to hear this, but it's going to happen. Texas is going to walk into your home stadium and Donkey Kong, Bing Bong, Ping Pong smash you. They're going to light you up on defense and offense. You're not going to have an answer on either side of the ball. Good luck. That's all I know to say. I got Texas winning this one 41-17. Sometimes in this life, you're outmatched, and this is one of those scenarios. Of course, we will do a reaction video to this game, so I'll see y'all then. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below about the Roman.